I know you did well as an engineer, but when you lose your job unexpectedly from something like a 9/11, I mean, that's your lifestyle doesn't
It's
change immediately.
it's life-changing, man. It really is. When I say that I had to move into the hood, I moved into the hood. And
So
it's an experience that everybody should get out there and at least because it's a competition. You get a chance to measure yourself up against other people. But even when you're there, I tell people that don't get so wrapped up in competing. Make sure that you're learning. Competing is great because we're sales reps. We love to compete, but it also makes people take it seriously.
that
Because one thing that we do here inside of some of the painting companies, pressure washing, even the floor coating companies, where they have a hard time keeping sales reps because
yeah.
they come in and they learn how to sell. Well, then they learn that, hey, I can come over here and work just as hard and sell something that's an average ticket of 10 to 20,000 and make
Yeah.
this amount. Now,
All right. Trevor Steel, Through the Noise, Business Life and Lies. I'm your host. This is a podcast, and I am excited about today. I met this gentleman a couple of years ago in Cabo San Lucas for a summit. It's called the Summit, an event that's actually coming back up, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. But this guy is an absolute killer. You talk about pivoting and rewriting yourself. Man, he's done it several times. He was an aerospace engineer at one point. He was a mortgage broker at one point. And now he is a high performance home service coach, one of the top leaders in sales for the home service industries. He's the founder of Top Rep, Chuck Thokey. I'm excited to introduce you. Chuck, welcome to the team.
hey, man, thanks so much. Yeah. It's been a wild ride since I started in on my own careers. I used to go out and speak for high schools and colleges. And I tell everybody, first of all, have a sense of humor. Second of all, you're going to have at least four careers over your lifetime.
Hmm.
And then none of them are going to have to do with what you wanted to do as a kid.
Oh, don't say that. So, which career were you in currently when you were doing those school visits?
So I was a aerospace engineer towards the end. And then when I got into sales after 9/11, got into sales, I started speaking across just high schools and colleges mostly.
So I got to go back to the aerospace engineer because we're talking to a sales rep. That's essentially what you are, but you're a sales rep trainer for the home service industry. How do you end up as a sales rep from an aerospace engineer?
Well, 9/11 will do it to you. We all got kind of laid off. All the engineers kind of got laid off. And when they decided that they were going to bring everybody back, I was already in home services. And I was like, man, I'm making 3 times as much as the cap, for an aerospace engineer. I didn't have to travel quite as much, at least at that point. I travel twice as much now. But at that point, I didn't have to travel a whole lot. And I played a lot of golf, spent a lot of time with family. When I was an engineer, I was a flight test engineer, which means that I was never home. I was always in the air somewhere around the world.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
So what year was that you switched to sales? So you went to work for a roofing company, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a sales rep from the bottom.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What year was that?
That was in, gosh, 2002,
So
because 2001 was 9/11. And so it was about a year after because they struggled and then they just started letting everybody go. And what was interesting is I went from aerospace company to aerospace company because I was on the cover of most of those publications because I was the youngest aerospace engineer in the country. When I started, I was age 19, which is unheard
wow.
of. Yeah.
19, that is unheard of. So college degree obviously required to be an engineer.
You don't need one.
Wow.
It depends. So I actually, to this day, I still don't hold an actual college degree. What got me into it, and this story is rather humorous. I have what is an equivalent to an associate's, I guess, and school bored the hell out of me. It really
Yeah.
did, and it drove me crazy. But I went through 2 years of electronic engineering, and then I started wiring aircraft once I left, and then started testing and finding out what was right, what was wrong with a lot of these aircraft inside of Learjet. And what I found was that the same people were making the same mistakes. And so I asked my boss at the time, I says, "Hey, can I have the next 3 aircraft that make the turn? And I want to be able to pick my team." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, let's see what you can do." It usually takes an aircraft from the back of the hangar where I guess you can say, electricity to the aircraft till they get it all the way up front to where it goes to flight. And so you typically it takes about 3 months. I took 3 aircraft, 3 weeks to do it. And so I had the president of Learjet came over, wanted to know who this guy was, told me that I saved over $36 million or whatever it was. And I was like, "Hey, can I have half of that?" But it's at that point they realized that when it comes to flight test and putting these tests together, they I was able to take the entire company and help them to realize how they can test these aircrafts a lot faster. So that's how I became an engineer. The FAA didn't like it, but they sent me through several classes. Wichita, the Shockers. I went there. Went to Emory Riddle, got certain classes and certifications, as they would call it, and I went through that and got my engineering ring, and rest was history.
Wow. And how long
Yeah,
was that? How long did that stint go till?
about
Give me an
four and a
idea.
half years. Yeah,
Yeah. So you talk about pivoting. You spent 4.5 years building a career that, most said wasn't possible. You
yeah.
kind of cheated the system to make it happen. I love that. And then 9/11, and it's time to pivot. So talk to me about that. When you took that first sales job, did it feel like you were giving up?
So my first sales job, I went into insurance. There was an ad in the paper, and here's what's funny. So I went from making 6 figures as an engineer to just within a blink of an eye, moved back home. At that point, I couldn't find anywhere. Here in Ohio, the only place you can go work in aerospace is either at the base, which you do have to have a degree to go there, or over at BF Goodrich or GE, sorry, over at GE. And I was not going to sit behind a desk the way they were talking about. So, to believe it or not, I went to go work third shift in a meat packing plant
Mm,
and I had to lie to get in because I was well overqualified. I just wanted to make a certain amount so that I could try and sell and create this insurance job during the day. And so I sold during the day, and at night it was in this meat packing plant in Trotwood, Ohio. I slept for a couple of hours and went at it again. And I was one of the top salesmen when it came to insurance. But dude, I was bored out of my mind. And so right around that time, somebody came to me with the opportunity for mortgage. And that was fun. That was probably one of the more fun when it came to me actually selling, and one of the more fun positions I've ever had. It
yeah.
was a lot like Broiler Room, it seemed like, and just really high octane, just dialing for dollars. And I was one of the top in the US. And then where I got my love for management started there. So we built one of the largest, I guess you can say, mortgage brokers in the country. And I had this lady, she's like, "Man, I just want to not have to go back to being an executive assistant." Her name was Tanya. So I kind of put her under my wing, showed her what it is I did and how I did it. And as of today, she goes around and does what I do for mortgage. She coaches and trains. She makes an amazing living. And it all came from the fact that I took the time to really show her how mortgage worked. Instead of just selling one at a time, taking leads and calling leads all day, to going out and finding massive amounts of people that want mortgages and that they keep sending them to you. Taught her how to do that. And I mean, she took off. And then once the bubble started to burst with mortgage, a friend of mine said, "Hey, you might want to take a look at this opportunity. There's a company coming in out of Canada called Bathfitter." But there was already a couple of bath fitters. There was a fair amount. This one here was right here in Kettering, Ohio. And so I started out with just the Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and it kept going from there.
I love a story anytime somebody has to pivot. I've had several pivot stories in my own life, but and maybe we'll get too personal, so you can tell me to move on if you want to. But for
Nope.
me, it was always necessity. Okay, if you don't do something now, you and your family are in trouble financially and you have to figure this out and you bootstrap it, right? And
Yeah.
you do something else and you do it now. Was that your situation? Did after because I mean I know you did well as an engineer, but when you lose your job unexpectedly from something like a 9/11, I mean that's your lifestyle doesn't
It's
change immediately.
it's life changing, man. It really is. When I say that I had to move into the hood, I moved into the hood. And it was tough. I mean, I even when I worked in insurance, we stayed in this little house and I'm sitting there working and the ceiling literally caved in on me. I couldn't get out of that fast enough, that life. And every experience that you have adds not only adds to your story, but also adds to just life changing and understanding where you're coming from and what it is that you took yourself out of.
Yeah. I think we praise success as it appears more than the distance you've traveled. I think it's unfair. I think it through the noise, right? I think I do that a lot to myself. I look at myself and I'm like, why are you not worth $50 million yet? What are you doing? You're pushing 40. You were supposed to be filthy rich by now. And then I look at my past and my story and where I come from and I go, okay, slow down. You're doing good, kid. Like keep it
Yeah,
up, but it's so hard with the pressure of the world. But the people that pivot quickly, I bet you wish you didn't wait a year to take that sales job, right?
that's for sure.
Yeah.
That but when I finally found home improvement, home services, man, people that are in this industry are so lucky to have found it. Remember that nobody's looking to say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I'll be a roofer when I grow up." Nobody says that.
Yeah.
But these folks they found their way into roofing, they found their way into power washing and concrete coatings, exterior remodeling. They found their way into this. And whether it's pure luck or their parents did it before them, it doesn't matter. The fact that you found it, and I mean, it's a real rags to riches type story over and over and over again all over the United States.
Yeah. I've got a theory on that. And I think it's one of the reasons I love the home service industry so much and the work that people like Tommy Mello are doing to change it. The people look, I own a pressure washing company, right? That's like a step below painter. There's not you don't go much lower than that. Plumbing. Do you remember 20, 30 years ago if you were a plumber, how embarrassing that title was? If
Yeah.
you're a plumber today, people know you make good money, right?
Yeah.
If you drive a UPS truck, people know you have a good salary and you have great benefits, right? You work at Starbucks, you got benefits. Well, now it's the home service industry, right? If you're an HVAC tech or you're a plumber or a roofer, chances are you're making money. And if you're doing sales in one of those industries, you're definitely making money.
Yes.
So I think it's changing fast. It hasn't quite made it down to the trenches of the pressure washing world yet, but people like Chuck Thokey are working on that. We're gonna get there. We're gonna
That's
get
right.
there.
That's right. We have,
So
I mean, even inside of Top Rep, we have a large number of pressure washing companies that we've worked with.
yeah, I've
Uh,
been to a top rep. I went to the top rep in Wilmington just to see what it was all about. Because after I met you, I was like, all right, Chuck Thokey is the real deal. And if he ever comes towards my end of the country, I'm going to check him out. Y'all, if you haven't seen top rep yet, I don't care what industry you're in. It really doesn't matter. You're in sales, right? It doesn't matter what you do for a living, you're in sales. You either work for the guy that's doing the sales and you're selling yourself to that guy, or you're the one doing the sales, right?
That's true. It is. And
So
it's an experience that everybody should get out there and at least because it's a competition. You get a chance to measure yourself up against other people. But even when you're there, I tell people that don't get so wrapped up in competing. Make sure that you're learning. Competing is great because we're sales reps. We love to compete, but it also makes people take it seriously. Because if all we did was say, "Hey, come over here and come on out to Myrtle Beach in February and just role play with other people," you wouldn't take it seriously. But now that we're competing, these guys and gals, man, they really take this seriously. You can see it when we're starting to name the top 10 and then of course the top rep. It's life changing to them.
yeah, yeah, I get that. I can't imagine the confidence boost it would give you too. I
Mhm.
mean, these guys in the roofing industry, these top sales reps. I mean, what are we talking about? 2 to 400,000 annual revenue for themselves.
That's probably a majority
Hmm.
of the industry is about 2 to 400,000. We do have a few that will go even into the millions. We have a sales rep very close friend of mine. Just the last couple of years, he's over 1.8 million in income.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
people don't understand about that, that's not top dollar revenue. That's not sales. That's commission, y'all.
Yeah.
That's a big number. That's 1099, government getting some of that.
And remember that
Big
there's
checks.
people say, well, he must have, better opportunity. No, it's just he kept going up and up and up in his career. He's in year like 26, but he now understands what it takes to make that kind of money and what it feels like to make that kind of money. So
Yeah.
it's easier.
Carlos, what's up, brother? Carlos wants to know if it was residential or commercial sales.
It's all residential. I don't think he's ever sold anything commercial.
That's even more surprising.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's more scalable, right, in the roofing industry?
It can be depending on where you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Just nuts, man. So you have a philosophy and it's called a low pressure sales philosophy. Talk to us about that a little bit. Tell us where that came from and what it is.
Well, so we have been very blessed to have the partners in the industry that we have. And some of these partners are these apps, I guess you can call them, where they allow you to record everything that happens in a house. Well, it's not just recording, it's analyzing, breaking things down. And what we have found when we put everything together, that it's that low pressure sale that gets not only gets the homeowner to buy, but it enables the homeowner to recommend all their friends and family as well. Because I mean, you can easily sell somebody with high pressure sales. That's where I learned was high pressure sales. I learned that
Mhm.
first, and then started to bring myself to an opportunity, still being able to close and at a higher amount with low to no pressure sales. And then I didn't even need leads because so many people were referring me. They refer me to friends, family, people that they know, because they knew that I wasn't going to beat them to death. What we have found through all these recordings and through AI of the recordings, well over 3 million that we have access to, is we have data that shows what works, what doesn't work. Not just, hey, this person went in and it worked, I think we're just going to keep teaching it. No, we have scientific data based on recordings in the house that tell us what works and what doesn't work. And we continued to tweak it. Just last year, maybe a little over a year ago, we started in on a script for when people don't have their spouse there, which most
Mhm.
people call it a one-legger. And so we have this new script for that, and it has been working tremendously well, even better than we ever thought it would be. And where it came from is learning how to talk. We've gone out and worked with professionals that just understand how to have a professional conversation. And so we put sales with having a professional conversation, and then we mix in another coach of ours, which is Chris Voss, the negotiation, and we have this understanding now. And then when you come into Top Rep, now you're learning how to not only have a conversation, how to negotiate, and how to close through a simple, what we call a sales conversation.
Should we role play right now?
Yeah, man, I'm in.
I'm sure you're used to that.
Oh yeah,
That's part of top rep, right? That's a significant part of it.
yeah.
All right, so you're trying to sell me. All right, let's go pressure washing because that's my industry. You're trying to sell me on a monthly wash club membership, which gets you 4 cleanings per year. Okay,
Okay.
and you just gave me the price. It's going to be $225 a month.
Hmm.
And I'm going to say, okay, my wife's not here. Usually we discuss this kind of stuff. I guess I'll just get back to you.
Hey, Trevor, I totally understand. And, for one, I'm married as well. I understand what your situation is. So, what is her feeling on getting the home washed and to begin with?
Yeah, she's constantly trying to get me to do it. I
Okay.
just don't have time. And, I used to do it. I've got a machine. I don't even know if it works anymore more, but I've got a machine and I used to do it, but I just don't have time. She wants it done. Yeah, she wants it done. She likes it when the house is clean.
Okay. All right. Good. And I mean, you know her better than I do. What do you think she'd say about everything that you and I just went through? Is this something that, it would be a big conversation, or is this something that you guys would have to talk about?
Yeah, probably not a big conversation because, I can hear her in my ear right now saying, "What are you waiting for? Get it done." So, yeah, I mean, probably not. Right.
Okay. So, would you be against reaching out to her and seeing what kind of questions that she might have for me while I'm here?
I mean, I could, she's picking the kids up right now. I guess I could, you want me to call her?
You're going to call her right now?
Hey,
That's
babe,
awesome.
listen, this guy's really pushy. He wants
So,
250 a month.
so what we did there was first I affirmed the fact that she knows about the project. And what I'm doing is I'm walking him or her, whoever this may be, I'm walking them through the whole sales process without going through the sales process. Okay. So
Mhm.
I'm affirming that they know about it and that they are knowing that this needs to be done. The very next thing is you know your wife or husband better than I do. How do you feel about everything that? What do you think that they would feel about everything that we went through? And this typically comes to where I just want to make sure I'm not sleeping on the couch, because what that tells me is this person's bought in and they're just trying to get past me. I got to talk to them. I got to talk to them. I'm like, oh, absolutely. And then I want to know that, well, now that we know that this is something that you guys are going to be doing at some point, is this going to be a big conversation or just simply finding out, is this something you're going to pay on a monthly basis, depending on what you're buying? Is this something you're going to
Mhm.
pay on a monthly basis or just put half down? We'll probably just put half down. Okay, great. And then now we're going to slide in that no question. And the no question is so much easier than asking a yes. A yes question means that you're going to commit to me. A no question is like, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can give her a call. I don't mind. So I'm going to go into, so would you be against? And we put those goofy pauses in there. So would you be against reaching out to her and seeing if she has any questions? We do the pauses to break up the sales talk.
Mhm.
And no one ever really talks about, they talk about putting pauses in, but nobody ever talks about what we're doing is breaking up sales talk. So if I said, hey, would you be against going ahead, getting in touch with her and just seeing, if we can answer any of her questions? Right there, I'm bulldozing you.
Yes, different for
Yeah.
sure. Feels different.
Yeah. So instead, I'm going
It
to
doesn't
break
feel
up
scripted either.
right.
Yeah. Feels like you're
And
coming up with it and you're like, well, maybe we can solve this together. It's
right.
much more organic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it does make things a lot easier. There's a lot of different ways of getting a no that actually means a yes. One of them is, would it be a crazy idea just to go ahead, get this thing done, and you let me know if you find somebody that can do it, that kind of thing.
What do you think about the word tentatively? Because ours is a low entry, right? Average ticket's somewhere around $800 to $900. I like to tell my guys to tell them that we go ahead and tentatively put you on the schedule to make sure we have space for you when it comes time to making the decision, and then we can touch base as we get closer to make sure we're still good. What do you
I
think about
like
that one?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like it. Do you get any cancels using that when you are going to confirm?
I should have the data on that. I really don't. I would imagine no.
Okay.
Honestly, I think most of the time when we say the word tentatively, they feel like we're not trying to push it on them, and they usually just say, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. But yeah, that'd be interesting to know this actual data on that.
On the exterior remodeling, well, just about any remodeling, really, there's a 3-day rite of recension. And there's a lot of very poorly trained sales reps that do what we call recension closing. Recension closing means that you can't really close the deal right now. So what you're going to do is, Bob, Mary, why don't we go ahead and get this thing done? You have 3 days to cancel. You have 3 days to give me a call. Let me know if this just isn't going to work for you. For some people, it might work a little bit. Most people, they cancel every time, but they feel good that they went ahead and got the deal, at
Sure.
least for a couple of days. So,
Yeah.
that's why I say when you mentioned tentatively, I'm like, I kind of feel like it's a recension close, but maybe if you're able to keep a lot of those, then yeah, I'd keep going. But typically on a recension close for a remodeler, it's a what we call the poor man's out. You don't know how to
Sure.
close, so we're just going to go ahead and give you the out. But
Before it gets awkward. Yeah.
yeah, before it gets really awkward. Yeah.
Well, let me give you a scenario. This is something I'm currently working on and struggling with,
Okay.
and it'll be interesting to see what you have to say about it. So we're building out this thing called a wash club. That wasn't fake.
Good.
And basically, how it works is we are going to come out to your home 4 times a year, once a quarter, and we're going to wash the exterior. We're going to clean your surfaces, your concrete, your exterior windows, your dryers. I'm sorry, your gutter cleaning, any roof debris that's on the roof. We're going to clean that off for you. So your exterior maintenance on a quarterly basis. Now, most pressure washing jobs are one per year, right?
Mhm.
They call us out once a year. And there's a flat rate for that. That's a little bit more expensive than the extremely discounted wash club membership because the first cleaning is a little more intense, a little more deep cleaning, right? And then 3 months from now, you can imagine it takes about a quarter of the time. So we're able to discount those services throughout the year significantly for the time frame required in order to give them a discount, and then we divide it by 12. So let's just call each visit a $500 visit 4 times a year. That's $2,000. 2,000 divided by 12. You can do the math, right? So you get a budgetable, kind of like your pest control company. You put your credit card on file, we run your credit card, and you know what you're getting every 3 months. The problem we're having is people coming back to us and it ends up being about 20% higher than if you just called us once a year. That's typically the rate. It's worth it, in my opinion, because especially in the South, your house is going to be dirty way quicker than a year, right? So
Yeah.
this is a maintenance program, but because it's so new, we're struggling with, it's like we're trying to educate the customer, the consumer, and we're having a hard time closing on the spot. So what would you recommend, or do you have anything, or is this too complicated already?
Well, the only thing that when I think about that is what are some of the biggest pushbacks that you get? Do you know Mark Adair?
I I sure do.
I
What's
was
up,
gonna
Mark?
say, I'm like, you guys are over there by each other. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a deal, Mark. Maybe you can help me with this too.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
so
Apex over there. Yeah.
yeah, Apex. How about that? I'm interested to hear more about that. I guess the bounce back is, well, do I really need it done that often?
I was wondering if that would be the bounce back. If they
Yeah,
like 4 times, I don't know if I need it 4 times.
yeah.
But I live in Ohio where I mean, I really
You
don't need it
probably
4 times,
don't.
but I do
Yeah,
need it once a year. Do like the program itself. And if your bounce back or your issues are always, do I really need that? Then we need to figure out, is it always the same service? Or maybe we do different service 4 times a year. That way, this time it's the gutter cleaning. The next time, we're going to wash the entire exterior. I don't know, but I think that would be really cool. That if you
yeah,
had different services, it would make more sense to them.
yeah. So we do, and basically, this is how we sell it. I'll show you my sales form, and you'll know immediately that it was overcomplicated.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so you see the problem, right? Immediately we were like, okay, that once we get to the bottom of this thing, these people are so overwhelmed, they don't know what's happening. We tried to do custom maintenance plans, right? Your home is different, right? You have gutters and you live under a bunch of pine trees, and those gutters have to be done every month, no matter what. That's pretty common. Roof debris. You might live on the ocean and your windows on the ocean side get trashed. You might have 4 dogs and 3 children, and so your laundry machine is constantly, or your dryer is constantly clogging up the dryer vent. So we might need to come out more often and do that. But the problem was we're sitting here with these homeowners and we're trying to explain these details, and we're going to come here, then this, there, and then we do the math, and they're like, all right, wait, so I'm paying what for what? And this, it was just too much, right? What we tried to do was say, listen, these are the services we know you need on the exterior of your home. We're going to discount them significantly. We're talking about 50% per visit discounts. And when we come out, it's basically going to be a spot cleaning scenario. Your rear patio is going to need it before your screen and porch is going to need it before your front porch because of the spiders and the bugs and things like that. So we try to simplify it, and it is hard. It's hard to fine tune this and sell it to somebody, but the customer avatar is going to be the doctor or the lawyer who's like, yeah, perfect. I don't have to think about it. Get it done.
That's right.
But the ones that ask a lot of questions, it's like, but this is what I always tell them. This is what our sales pitch is, right? Listen, it doesn't matter to me. It's only a 20% increase annually for us. And it's honestly a lot less to have to deal with and schedule, and a lot less dispatching if we just do it once a year. So if you want to just get us signed up for once a year, I'll sign you up tentatively once a year for the rest of my life. That's fine with me. But if you want a little bit extra, you really want to make sure that your home is always clean. You don't have to call us when there's a problem. You just want to make sure it's done. We're going to handle it. These are the services we're going to take care of. And it works well with some people, and some people it doesn't. Man, the ones that it doesn't work well with, it's like, yeah, I just want to scream.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see it. Even if you did whether it was 4 times a year or if it was just twice a year, we're going to send you into the winter. Because I'm thinking Ohio. I keep forgetting you're right there on the ocean. But like
Yeah.
right here in Ohio, we'd love to winterize it, but then we'd love to make sure that once spring hits, that you're ready to actually spend some time outside, to
Yeah.
enjoy it. There's a lot of trades where DIYers are dominating. Power washing's one, painting is another.
Hmm.
And we have a lot of painting companies as well. And it wasn't until I actually had the interior of my house painted professionally that I realized what it's like to have a professionally done paint job.
For sure.
When I do it, half the ceiling's painted. Before I had it professionally done, I was okay with that. But now that I have it professionally done, I was like, man, this is fantastic. I'll never do it myself again because I never want it to look less than what it is right now. And
Hmm.
it's kind of the same thing with power washing because most people that power wash, they leave the streaks. That looks like their sidewalk
Zorro.
zebra,
We call him Zorro. Zorro's been here. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we have a series of questions that we ask in the painting and in pressure washing that helps them to realize that they really do want to spend the extra money to have it done. For one, time is money. And so if you're talking to the right person when working with that, it makes it a lot easier. Also, you start to wonder, like, what type of job are you looking for? Is this something that you just want it, surface cleaned, or do you want it clean?
Right. Yeah, that's good. One of the things I like to say in the home, right, is that we basically finance the exterior cleaning of your home, right? Why would you want to drop $2,000 randomly in the springtime because you let your home get out of control, then spending $150 a month to make sure that you maintain it and you don't ever have to think about it again? It's kind of like when you come home and your landscaping is always immaculate because you
Mhm.
have somebody taking care of it. That's a good feeling, right? You want to come home to a clean home. But if you wait once a year, there's going to be 3 to 5 months out of that year where there's rust stains, mold. It's just one of those deals where we are struggling with it. And I think it's anytime you're trying to educate the consumer, it becomes difficult,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
one foot in front of the other.
So when it comes to the summit, man, I'm really really psyched about the summit. Hopefully, anybody that's watching this that is an owner or a leader, man, the last time we had this, some of the best relationships that I have in this industry came from that summit.
Yeah.
Me being in the roofing and interior remodeling, exterior remodeling, I didn't really know what I was going to talk about, what I was going to do when I got there.
I
Because
bet.
back then it really was more of a power washing summit. Now it's really the home services or home improvement when it comes to that. So anybody can come in and bring their leaders. You can have the owner and the leaders that come out, and we really take the time to break it down for you. And it's not just sales. You've got Brandon Vaughn that's really going to break out what it has to happen within, the business itself, how you're going to run the business within 2026. So I'm really psyched about this.
Yeah. I'm just psyched to go to Cabo for a week, you
I
know?
am too. I'm not
That's
gonna lie.
it's gonna be fun. Oh, look, here's my wife. Chuck, where's your hat?
I do need to find it. I was telling the wife the other day. I was like, I've got it around here. I was actually wearing it not long ago.
That's funny. All right, what do we got? So, oh, I got one for you. All right, so I wrote down shred my sales strategy question mark. I was going to get you to rip my strategy apart, but we kind of went through that. I want to ask you this for my pressure washing people. If you had no choice and we had to pivot right now, everything goes to hell. Chuck Thokey has to start over and pivot, start a pressure washing company. What would be your first hires? And would you do it immediately or would you wait?
So obviously, my very first hire in pressure washing, anyway, would most likely be a sales rep, as we knock doors in pressure washing. I think that is one of the best ways of getting business. Is once you're in a certain area, why not, man? Create as much noise as you can. I wish those generators, the washers, were even noisier than they are. Because everybody knows, like, somebody's getting their house washed, and then you start walking around. Or I'm sure that you guys get this. Everybody's coming out of their house, coming, hey, can you come over? Can
Oh,
you
yeah.
come over?
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing for us. So it's either going to be a sales rep or someone to answer the phones. It really depends if you plan on marketing at all.
Yeah, interesting. So let me ask you this. There's lead runners
Mhm,
and then there's outside sales reps.
mhm.
So outside sales reps, obviously, you know what the difference is. But in my world, an outside sales rep is a hunter.
Mhm.
Go hunt, bring back some leads, and they always shoot for the big ones, right? They're going after the 20, 30, $40,000 HOA community jobs. But they're few and far between, and it requires serious relationship building with the managers so where does that outside sales rep start in your eyes?
The
What's his
outside
week? What does his week look like?
because you're looking at things a little bit differently than I would typically look at them. And I do most of our sales reps are lead runners. I mean, they're
Yeah.
lead babies is what we call them, lead babies. They whether they like to hear that or not. But when you look at an outside sales rep, you're looking for somebody because a lead runner is very ADHD. They almost to the point where they twitch. I mean, these are not good with commercial. They're not going to be good. They're not patient. They're closers. They want to get in the house. They want to start talking to the homeowner, and they want that deal right now. But then your version of an outside sales rep, where they're going to go out, get the relationship, you're going to need a little bit more or a little bit less of that D when you're talking about the D and the I for disc. You're going to need a little bit less of the D and a whole lot more of the I. If you have a lead runner that has a lot of I, you don't get them to shut up.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we have found. Everybody says, "Oh, you need to have a high D, high I." It's like, if you have a sales rep with a high I, it's really hard to get them to shut up in the house. So what we actually want is kind of middle of the road I and a higher D. That higher D gives them that ability to stay in the house a little bit longer. Yeah.
I'm interested to hear this. Introverted or extroverted? Really
Introvert
think
all day.
I thought you were going to say that. I almost slowed you down to say, think about it.
Nope.
I thought you were going to say that. And lead runners, right?
love a
Because
good-
a lead runner doing an introverted lead runner doesn't matter if you're introverted or extroverted. You still have to knock on the door,
Yeah.
right? So once you knock on the door, it doesn't matter if you're introverted or extroverted. That goes away. You have no choice, right? You're pinned against the wall. So an introvert all of a sudden becomes an extrovert.
Right.
I love that answer. That's what I was hoping you'd say.
I mean, introverts, you can get them to shut up. Extroverts, they just talk and talk until they talk themselves right out of the deal.
I married one. Oh, crap. Is this live? It's true, though. It's true. I mean, it's like I obviously sell real estate as well. Went to a listing appointment once, and this nothing against my wife, but she is a talker. She's an extroverted talker. And they said, "Man, your aura is a lot slower than your wife's. I think we can work with you." And it was like some people respond really well to her high pace, but some don't. So it's like, how do you turn it one off and turn one on? But I might be in trouble. See what you did, Chuck. I don't think she's watching right now because she's not commenting. So maybe we're okay. Somebody's going to tag her and be like, go to 42 minutes and 43 seconds and listen to what Trevor said. So that's interesting. So I never thought of that as being two separate roles. You've got your outside sales rep, or business development maybe is a better title. That's kind of what I do, right? I'm the guy that goes to the property managers and goes to the chamber events and the stuff that nobody wants to do, but somebody's got to do it. And then
we a different person. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we call them go quotes. I don't know where we came up with that. I think my wife actually came up with that term, where it's basically, you just go quote that job and you meet with the homeowner, and the goal is to turn a gutter cleaning job into a wash club membership or a $2,000 exterior cleaning one-off job. And we're successful at that. We've built out great systems with packages and tons of options, and it works really well. But I've never thought about separating them. That's pretty interesting. I've always had my go quote guys try to be, and it never worked, by the way. So you're 100% right about this. I've never been able to successfully merge those two roles, no matter how hard I try. Yeah. So it's pretty hard. I mean, how do you do that, especially in a low ticket industry? I'm being super selfish about this because I got Chuck Thokey one-on-one here for.
No, man, I get it. And we get these questions all the time because we know what needs to be done. The problem is in a low ticket industry, it's hard because
Really hard.
they have to survive too. And when you think about the commissions and where those splits need to be, they got to sell a lot just to make the same as, say, somebody in roofing or windows.
Yeah. The go quotes, right? We're offering 10% to our sales guys for go quotes, and that's great. I mean, if they do 3 to 4 a day, they're walking away with minimum of $300 for that day and up to $1,000, right? Very, very easy to do that, especially during the season. And that's part of the reason we're doing the wash club membership, to keep the seasonalities low and all these other things. But that's very interesting. One of these days we'll dive deeper into that.
One thing that we do here inside of some of the painting companies, pressure washing, even the floor coating companies, where they have a hard time keeping sales reps because they come in and they learn how to sell. Well, then they learn that, hey, I can come over here and work just as hard and sell something that's an average ticket of 10 to 20,000 and make this amount. Now, what's nice is those industries are starting to pay less. So it used to be everybody got paid 10%. Well, now what you're seeing is either a salary plus commission, which means they get paid less. They usually have some sort of like $40,000 or $50,000 salary, and it's mixed with like 3 to 4% commission, which the business owners are laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, I could say that here, but that's what's happening right now. And most of the people that are coming into the sales industry now, that's what they want. They want the stability. Where way back when, what we wanted was the money.
Right.
We wanted to make that $250,000, plus, or back then it was we just wanted 6 figures.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you a struggle I'm having, and it's totally relevant. I have a lead tech who had to pivot his career. Won't go into that for obvious reasons, but he's a lead tech, and we're trying to move him into that business development role. But he has to make money today. It's not an option, right? And there's a lot of fear surrounding it. But we're trying to send him on as many go quotes as we can. We're trying to send him some high ticket stuff. We do a lot of gutter guard installations and Christmas lights and permanent light installations. Those are relatively high tickets. I mean, they can get upwards of. I mean, we just did a $60,000, $70,000 lighting bid. Like, it can happen. But convincing him, like, he would rather hold the pressure washing gun because he's guaranteed a paycheck.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't convince him to put the gun down and trust me and, give it 2 to 3 weeks and let that momentum build and you're going to be fine. But it's like, just can't get through to him. And I get it, but that's the struggle we're dealing with. Low ticket industries. If you had to start a pressure washing company tomorrow, I would say change your mind, do something else.
We're seeing a lot of the pressure washing companies go very tech, very AI.
Yeah, we are.
And
for sure.
A good friend of ours, they just sold their roofing company, and he's going almost digital, completely digital for his soft wash organization. Everything is, I mean, when you call in, you're going to talk to an AI agent. They're going to schedule everything. It even quotes you over the phone.
His name start with a J?
It does.
Yeah, we have the same stuff. His is probably, he's got a call center. I know exactly what you're talking about. And he's just a killer, by the way. You already know that. He's just a killer. So he's probably doing really good things. But we have an answering service, and we don't want her to give prices over the phone, but she could. If you asked her directly to give you a price, she probably would do it. Mm-hmm. She's capable of it. But we have it scripted to try and push to scheduling a visit. That's the target, right? And I learned that from Top Rep. Get those tickets up as high as you can, because we spent 2 to 3 years probably fully automated over the phone. You can get a quote instantly. And what happened was we were giving people what they wanted. And when we gave people what they wanted, it wasn't much. So we learned quickly, and Top Rep helped us figure some of that out for sure, that we needed to improve our sales process, because we're the professional at the end of the day, right? We know what they need, not the other way around.
Correct.
So flight test engineer to meat packing plant to mortgage broker to now leading. Oh, I asked ChatGPT, by the way, you get a kick out of this. You should go talk to ChatGPT about yourself. It's quite impressive, Chuck.
Is it really? I need to. Yeah,
it really is. You've helped thousands of people increase. What do they say? An average of 25 to 50% in revenue growth year over year. It's pretty impressive stuff. You need to get onto ChatGPT and ask it. But I asked Chat to try and put a valuation on the increase you've provided for your clients, and it was in the billions, is what their estimate was.
Wow! See, now I really got to do this. Yeah, that is very cool.
Wouldn't that be cool if you could have a starting revenue of all the people you coached over the years and where they are now and compare it? I bet you it is in the billions.
It could be, because we have some really big clients that when we first started, we've got one that's well over 400 million. And when we started, I think they were at 10 million, So I can imagine, and we have quite a few clients that are very similar to that, maybe not as big as that, but that we've been able to help build to a much higher level. So yeah, that would be very neat to be able to do.
Yeah, for sure. All right, tell us a little bit about Cabo. I'm super excited about Cabo. I know we already talked about it, but I want to make sure we mention
Yeah.
some more, what to expect, what you're bringing to the table, and it's honestly, it's probably just about sold out. So y'all better hurry up
Yeah.
if you're interested. But tell us a little bit about it real quick.
So I mean, you're looking at I think it's from the 6th through the 12th, bringing you and your spouse, you have 2 days, 2 full days of just planning for your business. So it's not listening to speakers. We are probably going to be speaking less than you're going to be writing, because what we're trying to do here is really get you into 2026 with a full plan within 2 days. Myself, you, Carlos, and Brandon Vaughn, to really bring this thing full circle, no matter what industry you're in, so that when you're ready for that next level, that you have a full sales plan, a full marketing plan, as well as a business plan to go into 2026.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm the guy with the pen. I appreciate you mentioning me with shoulder to shoulder with you guys, but I'm the guy with the pen in this scenario, for sure. Super looking forward to that. So how do we find that? Is it the summit? Carlos, you still out there? Give us a look. Give us a
It's a
URL. Give
link.
us a
Yeah.
yeah. Give us a link. We'll put it in the comments. You guys need to check out the summit. It's for the home services, and honestly, the price point to go to Cabo for the week, it's wild. And if you run a business, you probably have points for your flight. You can get a free flight out there. It's worth it, man. This will be my second time going, and it's pretty incredible.
So I know you and I were talking earlier. We're going to Darlington this weekend to watch Spencer race, and I mean, our name is all over that truck, and that's where we met him.
Yeah,
Is in Cabo,
yeah.
and he came out to top rep, and we were talking to all the leaders about it, and it was funny because I was starting to remember. I'm like, I had the opportunity to sit and watch him get pickpocketed by a 5-year-old as we went to dinner.
No way.
Yeah, it was funny because I mean he's like looking back, and there's this little kid in his pocket, and one was distracting him, the other one was trying to pick his pocket. It was humorous, but
Wow.
yeah. So it's good stories. I mean, it was
Well,
that's
I remember Spence on the back of the boat throwing up and reeling in a mahi at the same time. He was miserable, man. I guess he had a little too much to drink the night before. But
yeah,
man, what a great guy. We had a lot of fun in Cabo. You're bumping elbows with people that, he's a NASCAR driver.
yeah.
Like, could you have ever imagined going to a trade show and hanging out with a NASCAR driver for a few days? Like, just a great down to earth young man. Pretty cool.
That's where I met Brandon Vaughn, which is one of my closest friends in the industry right now. We even work with one of his companies, Wise Coatings, and
Mhm.
then we have partnered with Hire Bus, one of his other companies, and then Josh Taylor. He was power washing, and then after that event, because of our talk, he decided to start his roofing company, and then he sold to Lance Bachman. I mean, the guy is a multimillionaire just based on this, Cabo. I mean, this is stuff that is just so cool that you'll get a chance to not just talk with us, but the other people that are going to be there. And it's just amazing the people that Carlos can bring together.
Yeah, there's another name that comes to mind with Pat Clark.
I know Pat very well. Yeah,
Pat went from, I mean, I'm not going to spit out any numbers. Everybody knows Pat in the pressure washing industry. He's creating one of the fastest growing franchises in the country, possibly, probably the world, right? This is the US. So, yeah, you're right. The people that you're bumping elbows with on this trip are lifelong friends. I feel like I could call just about any of them on the phone.
yeah.
Truly incredible. What else? What else you got coming up? Is there anything you want to talk about before we jump out of here? You got
We have
Darling.
we've got a webinar coming up, and we'll be putting that out on Top Reps Facebook page, and that's for leaders as well. Not quite the same thing that we're going to be doing in Cabo, but we have a lot of questions that we get when it comes to sales leadership, not so much owners, but sales leadership. So we have a big webinar coming up, and that's going to be September 22nd and 23rd. So keep your eyes open for that.
Okay, we'll try and leave maybe we can get a link and put it in the comments as well.
Yeah.
And I have one last question before we jump off of here.
Yeah.
The Top Rep logo, does that have anything to do with you being a flight test engineer?
Well,
Or is
my
that just a
favorite
coincidence?
movie is Top Gun, and if I showed you, I wish I had the old logo. It
I
was the
remember it.
Top Gun logo.
Yeah, I remember it.
Because we were only going to do one show. We just decided to try this thing out. Like, we weren't going to do one. And this thing blew up. So we're like, hey guys, we need to change the logo. And
Before we get in trouble.
yeah. So now, as of the last couple of months, what we found out is Top Rep, that logo, is one of the most noticeable logos in home improvement now.
I believe it. I typed in Top Rep when I was doing a little bit of research for this podcast, thinking that there's no way just typing in those two words, because that's like the search engine optimization on that would be incredibly tough to dominate. Well, you did it. I mean, if you type in just those two words, Top Rep, it's you, and so that's a testament. Any two words, honestly, in this day and age is tough, but Top Rep.
Yeah. We got a trademark attorney, and we told him that that's what we wanted. We wanted to trademark Top Rep because you'll never get it. We're like, well, I mean, let's try it out. And he says, let's get like 5 different renditions. It took him about 6 months, but we got Top Rep trademark. He's like, I'd never thought in a million years that we were going to get this.
Let's see if I can point to it right there. They said the same thing to me. There's no way you're going to trademark Clean Image.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
It's hard to get 2 words to be trademarked with everything else trademarked.
Yeah, man, this has been fun. It's 58 minutes. That usually goes by fast. This one definitely did. Super impressive, dude. Who knows what you'll be doing next year? You might pivot and just take over the world, doing something. Maybe you'll be I don't know. Maybe you'll be in politics.
No thanks. No thanks. You don't want to open up my closets and let all the skeletons fall out. Oof.
It can't be that much worse than the politicians we currently have, right?
That's true. That's true.
All right. Thank you, brother. We'll see you soon in October. Carlos, see you there, brother.
All right, man. I'll see you then.
See you.